Redemption in the Heart of Lagos, a journey of faith, resilience and justice. In the pulsating heart of Lagos, Nigeria, where the air is thick with dreams and the streets are paved with hustle, Emeka Okoro was once a titan of industry. His import-export business, Okoro Impex, was a symbol of Nigerian entrepreneurial success, respected and admired by many. Emeka's life was a testament to hard work, integrity, and the power of dreams. But all that changed in the blink of an eye, swept away by a tide of betrayal and greed. One fateful morning, Emeka arrived at his sprawling office complex in Victoria Island only to find the gates sealed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. His secretary, tears streaming down her face, handed him a letter detailing the charges against him: embezzlement, fraud, and money laundering. Shocked and betrayed, Emeka found himself on the streets, his once prosperous life reduced to ruins. His assets were seized, his bank accounts frozen, and his reputation tarnished beyond repair. As the news of his fall from grace spread, Emeka's world crumbled further. His wife, Ngozi, a woman of refined taste and high expectations, could not handle the sudden descent into poverty. She blamed Emeka for their misfortune, her bitterness growing with each passing day. Their lavish home in Ikoyi was seized, and they were forced to move to a cramped apartment in the bustling neighborhood of Yoba. Ngozi's resentment festered, and she eventually left Emeka, taking their two daughters, Chidinma and Amoka, with her to live with her wealthy cousin in Abuja. Emeka's younger brother, Chike, whom he had supported through university, offered no help. Instead, Chike saw Emeka's downfall as an opportunity to take over his business. Behind Emeka's back, Chike had been secretly working with the same partners who had framed Emeka, hoping to claim a share of the spoils. The betrayal cut deep, but Emeka had no choice but to push forward, determined to clear his name and rebuild his life. Forced to survive, Emeka took up a humble job as a bus conductor, a far cry from his former status. He woke up every morning before dawn, navigating the chaotic streets of Lagos, shouting out destinations and collecting fares. The work was grueling, but Emeka found solace in the rhythm of the city and the resilience of its people. He was determined to rise again, no matter what it took. One day, while walking on a busy route from Yoba to Oshodi, Emeka overheard two passengers discussing a recent scandal involving his former business partners. The passengers mentioned that the partners had been caught in another fraudulent scheme, and their crimes were finally coming to light. Emeka's ears perked up, and he saw this as a glimmer of hope. He decided to gather evidence against his former partners and Chike, determined to expose their corruption and clear his name. Emeka's investigations led him to dark alleys and hidden corners of Lagos, where he uncovered a web of deceit and danger. He discovered that Chike had joined a powerful and dangerous cult led by a man known only as the Chief. This cult promised wealth and power to its members in exchange for dark sacrifices. Emeka learned that Chike had been instrumental in orchestrating his downfall, using the cult's influence to manipulate events and frame him for crimes he did not commit. The revelation was heartbreaking, but Emeka knew he had to confront Chike and expose the truth. He visited Chike at his lavish home in Lekki, a stark contrast to Emeka's humble dwelling. Chike, now wealthy and arrogant, sneered at Emeka's humble appearance. "What do you want, Emeka?" Chike asked, his voice dripping with disdain. "I want the truth, Chike," Emeka replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. "I know you were behind my fall. I know about the cult and the sacrifices. Why did you do this to me?" Chike laughed coldly. "You were always the golden child, Emeka. You had everything: success, respect, a loving family. I wanted a piece of that. The chief promised me wealth and power, and all I had to do was take your place." Emeka's heart ached with betrayal. "You destroyed my life, Chike. You took everything from me." Chike shrugged. "Life is about survival, Emeka. Some of us are willing to do whatever it takes to rise above the rest." Emeka left Chike's house, his heart heavy with anger and sadness. But he was more determined than ever to expose the truth and bring justice to those who had wronged him. He gathered all the evidence he had collected and presented it to the EFCC, hoping they would reopen his case and clear his name. Meanwhile, Emeka's life took an unexpected turn. One day, while walking on the bus, he witnessed an attempted robbery. A group of thieves tried to steal from an elderly woman, but Emeka intervened, risking his own safety to protect her. The woman, grateful for his bravery, introduced herself as Mama Adana, a wealthy and influential philanthropist in Lagos. Mama Adana saw the goodness in Emeka's heart and offered him a job at her foundation, which focused on helping the less privileged. Emeka accepted the offer, seeing it as a chance to turn his life around and make a positive impact on society. Under Mama Adana's guidance, Emeka flourished, quickly rising through the ranks of the foundation and earning the respect of his colleagues. As Emeka's new life began to take shape, he received news that the EFCC had reopened his case. The evidence he had provided was compelling, and the authorities were now investigating his former business partners and Chike. The news brought a mix of relief and anxiety, but Emeka knew he had to stay strong and see the process through to the end. One evening, as Emeka was leaving the foundation, he encountered a familiar face, Ngozi, his estranged wife. She had returned to Lagos, her bitterness replaced by regret and longing. Seeing Emeka's transformation, Ngozi realized the mistake she had made in leaving him. She begged for his forgiveness, hoping to reunite their family. "Emeka, I am sorry," Ngozi said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I was blinded by anger and pride. I should have stood by you, but I let my bitterness consume me. Please, forgive me." Emeka, though hurt by her past actions, saw the sincerity in her eyes. He remembered the love they once shared and the family they had built together. He agreed to give their relationship another chance, but only if they worked together to rebuild the trust and love that had been lost. Ngozi, grateful for his forgiveness, promised to stand by him and support him in his journey to clear his name. As the EFCC's investigation progressed, Emeka's former business partners were arrested and charged with multiple counts of fraud and embezzlement. Chike, realizing the gravity of his actions, confessed to his involvement in the cult and the sacrifices he had made. His confession implicated the chief and other high-ranking members of the cult, leading to their arrest and the dismantling of their dangerous organization. With the truth finally exposed, Emeka's name was cleared, and his assets were returned to him. He used his regained wealth to expand Mama Adana's foundation, determined to help others who had been wronged by the system. His daughters, Chidinma and Amoka, returned to Lagos, overjoyed to be reunited with their parents and proud of their father's resilience and courage. But Emeka's journey was far from over. As he delved deeper into the foundation's work, he encountered countless stories of injustice and suffering. He met people who had been wronged by the system, their lives shattered by corruption and greed. Emeka saw himself in their struggles, and he became determined to fight for them, to give them a voice and a chance at redemption. One such story was that of Amina, a young woman from the northern part of the country. Amina had been trafficked to Lagos with the promise of a better life, only to be forced into prostitution by a ruthless criminal syndicate. Emeka, moved by her plight, worked tirelessly to free her from her captors and help her rebuild her life. He provided her with a safe place to stay, access to education, and the support she needed to heal and thrive. Amina's story was just one of many that Emeka encountered in his work at the foundation. Each story fueled his passion for justice and his commitment to making a difference in the lives of others. He became a beacon of hope in Lagos, a symbol of redemption and the power of second chances. But Emeka's fight for justice did not come without challenges. As he exposed more corruption and helped more people, he made powerful enemies. Those who benefited from the system's flaws saw Emeka as a threat to their interests, and they stopped at nothing to silence him. Emeka faced threats, intimidation, and even attempts on his life, but he refused to back down. He knew that his fight was not just for himself, but for all those who had been wronged and silenced by the system. Through it all, Emeka found strength in his faith and the love of his family. Ngozi stood by him, her unwavering support a source of comfort and courage. Together, they faced the challenges that came their way, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Their daughters, Chidinma and Amoka, watched their parents' journey with pride and admiration, inspired by their resilience and determination. As Emeka's work gained recognition, he became a prominent figure in Lagos, respected and admired for his courage and integrity. He used his platform to advocate for change, to fight against corruption, and to give a voice to the voiceless. He became a regular fixture on news channels and at public events, his passionate speeches inspiring others to join the fight for justice. But even as Emeka's star rose, he remained humble and grounded, never forgetting the lessons he had learned in his journey from riches to rags and back again. He knew that true success was not measured by wealth or status, but by the impact one made on the lives of others. He continued to work tirelessly, determined to make a difference in the world, one life at a time. Emeka's story became a beacon of hope in Lagos, a testament to the power of perseverance and the triumph of good over evil. From the depths of betrayal and despair, he had risen to become a symbol of redemption and justice. His journey served as a reminder that no matter how dark life may seem, there is always a path to redemption for those who stay true to their values and fight for what is right. One day, as Emeka stood before a crowded auditorium, delivering a passionate speech about the power of second chances, he looked out at the sea of faces before him. He saw hope in their eyes, determination in their hearts, and he knew that his journey had only just begun. He knew that there was still so much work to be done, so many lives to be touched, and so many battles to be fought. But he was ready to face whatever challenges came his way, ready to be a beacon of hope and a force for change. As Emeka concluded his speech, the auditorium erupted in applause. The sound washed over him, filling him with a sense of purpose and resolve. He knew that his journey had been long and arduous, filled with pain and betrayal, but he also knew that it had been worth it. He had found his true calling, his reason for being, and he was determined to see it through to the end. And so, Emeka Okoro, the once disgraced businessman turned champion of the people, continued his journey, his heart filled with hope and his spirit unbroken. He knew that the road ahead would be long and challenging, but he also knew that he was not alone. He had the love of his family, the support of his community, and the unwavering belief in the power of redemption. And with that, he pressed on, one step at a time, one life at a time, determined to make a difference in the world and to leave a lasting legacy of hope and justice. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from Emeka's inspiring tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thank you for watching, and stay blessed.